Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today it's Sunday the 16th of June and it's the first time I've actually had a chance to sit down and get all my equipment balanced, get the lights right, get the camera focused, get the white balance done correctly on the camera. So as I was doing all that, I discovered that the desk that I'm using now in the new craft room is actually deeper front to back than the old one, which means that the boom that my camcorder sits on isn't big enough. So we've had to, when we went over to see Dad today, because in the UK it's Father's Day here today. So when we went over to see Dad this morning to take him his card and his Father's Day present, I took the boom with me and he's made me a longer one. So it's longer by about 4 or 5 inches, which is sufficient now for me to be able to position the camera in the right place over my workstation so that I can actually start filming proper projects again. So that was the first kind of disaster. So I had to kind of put off what I wanted to do until I'd got that fixed. So as I've just been preparing for my project, I've just snapped the handle off the Big Shot. Now the Big Shot is quite a few years old. I think we bought it around about 2005, 2006. So it's about 14, 13 years old. So yeah, it was probably time for a new one anyway. So luckily it did the job that I wanted it to do with the dies before the handle broke off. I think I was on 3rd pass, I think, when the handle snapped off. Anyway, those are the trials and tribulations. So this is the first project that I've done sat at my new desk in the new craft room with my new kind of setup. Let's just hope that my video camera doesn't play silly beggars today and actually does record all of the audio. We will see. So I'm about to start recording, I'm about to start the project, so let's crack on. Okay, so this is the prompt sheet for the mission inspiration for June 2019. This month, because I was in the process of moving house, Linda Simpson kindly stepped in and set the prompts for me, and also did the video and all that kind of stuff for this month's mission. So these are the prompts. So we've got add a thin wash of paint or gesso, add texture paste, marks with household items, focal image, sparkle or metallic paint, adding a border, quote or word, and finish with splatters or drips. And the colours are lilac, banana and mint green. And our words for inspiration: bloom, roses, blossom, garden and leaves. So a thoroughly botanical themed project. So I've gone through my collection of paints. Haven't actually got a lilac colour, but I do have a pale purple. Well, I've got a purple colour because those that follow my videos and have followed me for a while know that purple isn't my favourite colour, but I do have 2 or 3 shades in paint because you've got to. I've got yellow, not banana yellow, this says bright yellow, and I've got pistachio mint. These are Americana Deco Art paints, so I've got bright yellow. This purpley one's called Orchid, but for the purpose of this I think it will do. So those are the 3 colours. We've got sparkle or metallic paint, so I have got my indigo blue gold paint. So this is the Goldfinger gold paint, all acrylic obviously. I've got some brushes, I've got some water just to the side. There you go, nice lovely paint pot, brand new paint pot. I threw my old one away because it was too crusty. I know, I'm treating myself. And I'm going to be using, well, let's just crack on and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pop those prompts to one side for now. So the first one, add a thin wash of paint or gesso. Now you don't have to follow these prompts in order anymore. They're just a list of ingredients now, so if you want to do some of them in different orders you can do, no problems at all. But I'm going to begin by adding a ground onto my paper, so that thin wash of paint or gesso is what I want to do first of all. And to do that I'm going to use the banana yellow, or the bright yellow, and the mint. So I'm going to start off the top of the page with the yellow, and then I'm going to kind of ombre into green going down. So brushes, I want a small brush, fairly stiffish. So that will do. I'll need a fan brush for later when I'm doing some splatters. So now I'm looking for my old, I'll say old, one of the other Ranger paintbrushes that I had to wrap Gorilla Tape around the edge because it had actually started to flake. It was painted, well, as you can see, paint already started to flake away from this one, and it hasn't been left in water. But hey ho. Right, let's get started. So I've got the water, start off with the yellow. I have non-stick heat resistant mat here, so it'll make it easier for cleanup. So grab some water and then just mix a little bit of that just to get it nice and translucent. I'm not putting any gesso on the page. This is 300 GSM watercolour cardstock from Dale Rowney. 300 GSM, which translates to, for our American cousins, £140 or thereabouts. For our Canadian friends. So I'm just going to wash over with that. Take it about halfway down. Get that kind of mottling, uneven, painterly kind of effect on there. You can almost see the brush strokes. Looking a little bit watery towards the bottom, so I'll take a little bit more paint, tad more water, and then just strengthen that a little bit. There we go. Okay, now while that's still kind of wet, I'm going to grab, just give it a shake first, some of that pistachio mint, and then get some water, and then we can start adding that paint onto the bottom. So left to right, horizontal brush strokes, and then just start working that green into the yellow, darker towards the bottom, and then across the middle, backwards and forwards, and that kind of ombres, blends itself kind of backwards and forwards, and just take that darker a little bit towards the bottom, a bit thicker, a bit heavier, just down there. And I think that will do. So wash the brush. So I now need to get that dried off, and once that's done, I'll be right back. So that's all dry. I've pulled out a stencil for the next step, which is to add texture paste through a stencil. So I've gone through my collection. I've pulled out this one here, and this is called Wild Butterflies, and this is from Indigo Blue. I'm not sure how old this one is, but I've had it in my collection for a little while. Just never did anything with it. Don't know why. Anyway, so structure paste. Imagination Crafts, another UK based company. Let's just take some of that lovely structure paste, dollop some down on there. I've got a brand new spatula today, and then I'm going to just apply that through I'm not particularly bothered about getting it exact or even. If it's uneven and scrabbly, that's fine. Don't mind that. Don't mind a little bit of unevenness. Should do. As pretty. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again at this side. Perhaps I ought to get it dry first, which means I'm also going to have to clean the stencil off as well, because if I get that dry while that's drying with the heat gun, that's going to dry naturally on its own, and it's a devil to get off once it's dry. So let me just give that a quick blast just to get it on its way. And then I'm going to go and clean this off. So I shall go and do that, and then I'll come back when that's done. So I shall be back in a few minutes. Okay, so that's kind of drying. I've cleaned off the stencil. Now, I'm often asked what is the best thing, or in my opinion, what is the best thing for cleaning structure or texture paste off a stencil. That's quite detailed, and that is my answer. So run your stencil under some cold water, not hot water, but cold water, and just gently rub with an old toothbrush or a toothbrush you've purposefully bought just for the job. That will clean all the texture paste out, but also clean from the inside edges too. So you'll get a pristine stencil in next to no time. So that's what I do for mine. Right, so I'm going to place that one back down. I'm going to flip it over this time just to get that mirror image. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. So take some structure paste. This is a nice fine structure paste. And then just swipe it over. Nice and gentle. Just like I did before. And that should do the last bit. Like I said, it doesn't matter too much if it's a little bit scrabbly. We are doing out journal pages after all, and I have caught the end just there, which is fine because it's still wet. So that will just brush off. Well, job's a good one. So I will get those two dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my two sections of structure or texture paste are nice and dry, so it's time to move on to the next step. So we've got make marks with household items. Okay. When I moved house, I did do a cull of a lot of my household items, like the bubble wrap and all that kind of stuff. I threw it all away because there's no point me transporting something which is so readily available. I just haven't got around to replacing it yet. So I've just had a look around for some household items, and I can't really find anything. I've got no kind of loose lids or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is just use a piece of natural sponge. So this is just one that you can get from any kind of supermarket or art shop or craft shop or even store that sells shampoos and that kind of thing. Most of them will have a natural sponge, and they give really, really good texture because of all those holes in, and because it's natural they're all irregular and not uniform, so you get a really, really nice kind of effect just with a small piece. So I'm going to do some marks using white paint. So this is Americana Snow White or Titanium White. You just see me shake it up because I don't know when the last time I actually used it was. I'm not going to use a huge amount, but, and this is the cheat, obviously. Those are the 3 suggested colours that we're going to be using. I always say to everybody, if you use white or black in a project on top of those colours, it's fine, because white and black aren't technically colours, so you can get away with it. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly introduce some cleaner, whiter spots, and that just helps to break up that background a little bit. I know it's a lighter background anyway, but just adding a touch of white in there just gives you that kind of wispy, kind of cloudy effect into your background, and just helps to break up any block colours. And of course, depending on how hard you push down, like I've just done there, or light you go, you get a more subtle effect, or a darker, or lighter in this case, heavier effect by pushing harder. Just like that. So because we've broken that background up a little bit now, it just adds a little bit more visual interest into the page. We've still got more layers to go, so it will kind of like break down into the background a bit more, but you'll have to wait and see for those. So let's get it dry, and then I'll be right back. It shouldn't take long. Okay, so background is all dry. So the next step, I've used the Tim Holtz Sizzix Thinlits. These are called Wildflower Stems 2, and I've cut them out using some Coordinations Colour Core cardstock. So literally I just laid the dies on the cardstock and ran them through my Big Shot. Unfortunately, when I did it, yes, I did break my Big Shot, but luckily it was after I was on about the 3rd pass, I think it was, before the handle fell off. So they did actually cut out. So I'm going to keep those to one side because they could come in useful as a kind of stencily kind of shape later on, maybe, who knows. So those were the Thinlits. So as you can see, these are the dies that I've got. So I'm going to position them on the page just to kind of audition the positions where I want them, kind of in the middle. Maybe like so, maybe a little bit further down, a little bit further down there, and then this one here. Is that one taller? And maybe put that one just about there, so I can lose it maybe there. Now the reason I want to put them there and have a little bit of space up at the top is because I'm also going to introduce one of the paper dolls, one of the Tim Holtz paper dolls, namely this one, the dancing girl. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and I'm going to very carefully remove her legs. Poor girl, I know. And instead I'm going to cut off, I can't decide whether to use that one or this one, keep that, I'm going to remove that dandelion head there, like so. Keep that to one side, and that's going to be going into the middle of that stem there. Stick that one there. This one can then go over the top just to disguise those, and then she is going to be the flower stem for my little bunch, but I don't want them brown. don't want them brown at all. So I'm going to paint them. I know they look really, really finicky, but I'm still going to use the pistachio paint. So I'm going to put some of that there, but this time I'm also then going to introduce some of the orchid for the other tops of these flowers. So let me just give that a shake. Put a dollop of the orchid there. And I have to be a bit careful. I've got a couple of Tim Holtz or the Ideology ink blending tools and foams, because I'm going to load up one, namely like so. And it sure beats doing it with a brush, I'll tell you that. And then grab the greenery, a whole lot, and then just go over the top. And of course, if you run out of paint, just grab some more. These little sponges soak up so much paint. It's great. There's the stem of our girl. You can hear Ian talking to himself in the garage below me. There's nothing unusual about that though. Just lightly go over that just to blend it out a little bit, and then this one here we can go a little bit heavier. I might just leave a little bit of that brown showing through just to give it a little bit of variation. There we go. Just take that green up a little bit further, just into the bottom. There, I think that'll do it. That'll do. So I need to get those dried off. Hopefully they won't blow away. When they're done, I'll be right back. Okay, so my little flower stems are all dry. I'm just going to place that one down and just kind of audition it on the page. Yeah, I think that's going to work quite well if I stick that about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some glue. I'm just using some Tombow. This is just the fine tip applicator. And I'm just going to flip that over. Just move that out of the way for the time being. And just add a couple of little dots of the glue. And that should do me for that one. What's said about there? Now this glue will dry transparent, so it's fine if you get some on the page. You see, I've gone a bit too high. Before it dries, just peel that off a bit further down. Yeah, that's more like it. And then I can start adding my others. So it may take a little bit longer to add a bit to glue on. do some of those real fine tweezers. Something else to add onto the shopping list. Okay, now before I stick this one down, there's some stamens there just on the edge, can you see? So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the yellow paint, tiny bit, I'll do, just with my finger. Yeah. Real quick. So while that's just drying on that side, I can now glue a little girl down. I'm going to put just a slight angle. There we go. And that should pretty much have dried now. Let's just give it a quick blast. I'll do. And just a little bit of glue. Put that one down just there. Excellent. And take this one, and I think, yeah, that's going to go about there. Not a quick art journal page, this one. But seeing as this is the first time I've actually probably sat down and actually art journaled in nearly a month, then I can afford to spend a little bit of extra time on it. Just for me. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry for a few minutes. When I'm happy it's set, I'll be right back. Okay, so that's pretty much dried now. So our next step, now we've added our focal image or images, is to add sparkle or metallic paint, but we've also got the H, which is finish with splatters and drips. I'm going to combine E and H together, so I'm going to add splatters and drips in metallic paint. So then that's only going to leave me with adding a border and a quote or a word. So we'll come back to that one. So what I've done is, using my circle cutter, I've just cut a 4-inch circle out of that craft core that I had left on the sheet, and I'm just going to lay it over the top of my focal image, just like that. Just try and centre it over the top of her, about there. Bring it down. I've got my indigo blue Goldfinger metallic paint, and I'm just going to grab some of that from the lid. Look how it's all split. And again, haven't kept this in water. In fact, let me use a different one. There we go. This is a bigger one, a more newer one. So grab some of that gold paint, just put it onto the top there, onto my mat, get some water, just mix in the gold paint just to kind of get it nice and runny. Bit more than that, I think. That's going to do it, I think. There we go. As soon as it starts pulling on the craft mat, so it's pulling away, that's probably how run it. Maybe just a tad more, and then we can start just adding some splatters. And yes, I am concentrating around the edges of the circle. And then lighter towards the outers. And that should do. Clean off that brush. Clean off my hand. And then, just as quick as we can, clean up the excess and any splatters we managed to get on our worktop. I know Tina Turner did a song about a private dancer, but how about a tidy crafter? Nobody ever makes songs about them, do they? Okay, so now I can remove the circle. Ha-ha! And we have a kind of free halo all the way around. So I need to get that dried off, so I shall dry that and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've taken off the circle. As you can see, we've got the gold paint. I'm hoping there's a little bit of sparkle that's showing through on those little drips and splatters. So we'll just do a quick review of what we've done so far. So we've used the lilac, the banana, the mint green. We've added a thin wash of paint, we've added texture paste, we've made marks with household items, the sponge in the background, remember. We've added focal images and we've now added sparkle paint, but we've also added splatters there as well. So all that's left is a border of your choice and a quote or a word. So I'm going to add the words first. I'm going to go with the word bloom, which is going to be that top one there, and just under here I'm actually going to write in the word, well, two words actually, and I'm using the food ball pen. I'm hoping this one hasn't run out. And I'm writing on textured cardstock, remember, so I'll do my best. I can come back and thicken these letters up whenever I want to. If I don't think it kind of works, and then try not to get my head in shot. I think that football pen is actually running out. Somewhere I should have another. There we go. Let's see if this one's any better. There we go. A little bit darker. She blooms. And then just as a border to finish, I'm just going to just do a kind of loose border all the way around the page. First off, and then I can go back just add in a few squiggly interesty bits. And I think I'm happy with that. So we've added a quote or a word, so we're using the word bloom and a border of your choice, all done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Used all three colours and we've used the word bloom. So I would say that was mission accomplished. So all I'm going to do is just to sign the bottom and just put the month 6/19 for June, flip that over, and because I've printed this onto sticker paper, I should just be able to remove the back and stick that down as a reminder of what my prompts were for the month. And of course I've gone and smudged it now, but hey ho. So there you go, there's my mission inspiration art journal page for the month of June, with prompts set this month by the guest mission controller Linda Simpson. And I'll put the link to the Facebook group on screen now, but there's also a clickable link in the description area below if you'd like to join in with us on our monthly art journal or art challenges. It's up to you how you want to use them. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.